Hello students, welcome back to JCE Connect. So let's continue with our revision on Internet of Things technologies. In this lecture we are going to cover the remaining next topic from the module 3, that is IP as an IoT network layers. So IP as an IoT network layer, the few two topics we have discussed in the last lecture. So in this we will start about optimizing the IP for IoT. So this section explores the common protocols and technologies in the IoT network utilizing the IP, including 6LoWPAN, 6TiSH, and RPL. Profiles. Then we'll talk about the profiles and compliances. This section provides a summary of some of the most significant organizations and standards bodies involved in IP connectivity and IoT. Okay, so basically first we'll talk about the protocols which are using IP. Okay, IoT protocols or technologies which are using the IP, and then we'll talk about some of the companies or that organizations and standard bodies which involves with the IP connectivity and IoT. So start with the optimizing IP for IoT. While the Internet Protocol is a key for a successful Internet of Things, constrained nodes and constrained networks mandate optimization at various layers and on multiple protocols of the IP architecture. So the following sections introduce some of these optimizations already available for the market or under development by the IETF. Okay, so this figure highlights the TCP/IP layer where optimization is applied. Okay, so here we can see that we have physical layer, data link layer, network layer, transport layer, and between the data link layer and network layer we have the adaptation layer. Okay, so optimizing IP for an IoT using the adaptation layer. So from 6LoWPAN to 6Low. So these are the technologies what we are talking about, okay, which use IP. Okay, these are IoT technologies which use IP. So in the IP architecture, the transport of IP packets over any given layer 1 and layer 2, that is physical and MAC protocol, must be defined and documented. The model for packaging IP into lower layer protocols is often referred to as adaptation layer. Unless the technology is proprietary, IP adaptation layer are typically defined by IETF working group and released as a request for comments, RFC. An RFC is a publication from the IETF that officially documents Internet standard, specifications, protocols, procedures, and events. So basically what we are saying, when the technology, unless the technology is proprietary, IP adaptation layer are typically defined by IETF working group and released as a request for comments, RFC. So this RFC is nothing but the publication from the IETF, and it will keep all the documentations, internet standards, their specifications, protocols, and procedures and events. So for example, like RFC 864 describe how the IPv4 packets gets encapsulated over the Ethernet frame, and RFC 2464 describe how the same function is performed for an IPv6 packet. So that documentation is done by that RFC. The main example of adaptation layer optimized for constrained nodes or things are the ones under the 6LoWPAN working group and its successor, that is 6Low working group. The initial focus of 6LoWPAN working group was to optimize the transmission of IPv6 packets over constrained network such as IEEE 802.15.4. Now this figure shows an example of IoT protocol stack using 6LoWPAN adaptation layer beside the well-known IP protocol stack for reference. So this left side you have the well-known IP protocol stack, and now if we uh, go for the IoT protocol stack, okay, for 6LoWPAN IoT protocol stack with 6LoWPAN adaptation layer, then it will look like this. So in the physical we have the different technologies, that is wireless technologies or 802.15.4 MAC, okay. Then data link layer we have um, low pan. The network is IPv6, okay. Transport and application. So that will be the changes when we are talking about IoT protocol stack. Then we have 6 TSH group. To standardize IPv6 over TSCH mode of IEEE 802.15.4e, the IETF form the 60s working group. This working group works on the architecture, information model and minimal 60s configuration, leveraging and enhancing work done by 6LoWPAN working group, ROLL, that is routing over low power and lossy network working group, and CORE, that is constrained restful environment working group. So these are the different working group. This working groups works on the architectural information model and minimal 6TH configurations. So the ROLL, that is routing over low power and lossy networks working group, focused on layer 3 routing from constrained networks. An important element specified by 6TH working group is 6TOP, a sublayer that glues together the MAC layer and 6LoWPAN adaptation layer. So this group come up with this 6TOP layer, okay, which will glue together the MAC layer and the 6LoWPAN adaptation layer. So we can see here in this location where this 6TOP layer is there in between. So this sublayer provides commands to the upper network layer such as RPL. In return, these commands enable functionalities including network layer routing decision, configuration and control procedures for 6TH scheduled management. Then we have RPL. So IETF chartered the routing over low power and lossy network working group to evaluate all layer 3 IP routing protocols and determine the need and requirements for developing a routing solution for IP smart objects. A new routing protocol should be developed for use by IP smart objects given the characteristics and requirement of constrained networks. This new distance vector routing protocol was named as IPv6 routing protocol for low power and lossy network. So when they come up with the new protocol, that is named as IPv6 routing protocol for low power and lossy networks. The RPL specifications was published as RFC 6550 by the ROLL working group. In an RPL network, each node acts as a router and becomes a part of a mesh network. Routing is performed at the IP layer. Each node examines every received IPv6 packet and determines the next hop destination based on the information contained in the IPv6 header. So whatever the information is there in the IPv6 header, based on that it will find out the destination, next destination. No information from MAC layer header is needed to perform next hop determination. Now let's talk about profiles and compliances. So in this we are gonna talk about the different bodies. So first one is Internet Protocol for Smart Objects, IPSO Alliance. So it is established in 2008. The Internet Protocol for Smart Objects, IPSO, initially focused on promoting IP as premier solution for smart objects communications. Today it is more focused on how to use IP, with IPSO Alliance organizing interoperability tests between alliance members to validate that IP for smart objects can work together and properly implement industry standards. The IPSO Alliance does not define technologies, but it documents the use of IP based technologies for various IoT use case and participates in inducting the industry. So basically they will just keep a documentation and the others will use this use cases for their implementation of IoT. As the IPSO Alliance declares in its value and mission statement, it was to ensure the engineers and product builders will have access to necessary tools for how to build the IoT right. Okay. Then we have this Wyson Alliance. This Wyson Alliance is an example of efforts from the industry to define a communication profile that applies to specific physical and data link layer protocols. Currently, Wyson's main focus is on IEEE 802.15.4G protocol and its supports for multi-service and secure IPv6 communication with applications running over the UDP transport layer. The Wyson Wyson Field Area Network profile enables smart utility network to provide resilient, secure, and cost-effective connectivity with extremely good coverage in the range of topographic environments for dense urban neighborhoods to rural areas. IPv6 Ready logo. Initially, the IPv6 forum ensures the promotion of IPv6 around the world. Once the IPv6 implementation become widely available, the need of interoperability and certification led to creation of the IPv6 logo ready program. The IPv6 ready logo program has established conformance and interoperability testing programs with the intent of increasing user confidence when implementing the IPv6. So this is all about profiles and compliances.